record button. There you go. So we're all live on Facebook and recording on my computer.
Okay, perfect. There I
Hi,
am.
everybody. This is Linda Marcus Smith again. And instead of a full-blown long interview like usual, today I have an abbreviated interview and a plug. You're welcome. Today I have somebody I know in real life and admire and respect for her comedy and her life and passions in the world. Pamela Roth. She's sitting over there waiting to come on. And she's in the Good Karma Festival that's happening in New York City real soon. We're going to talk about that. Are you guys ready? Let's rock and roll. Welcome to the stage right now, the one and only Pamela Roth. Woo! Hi,
Thank you
Pamela.
Hi, Linda. How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on. You look beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes. So you live in New York City, a little bit about you, and tell people just a little bit about you off stage.
Okay, born and raised in New York City, and then we moved out of New York City, which was Washington Heights, and we moved to Long Island, where I grew up, out by Long Beach, and I did all my schooling out there. I then, graduated high school at 16, started college at 16. I have an undergraduate degree in bio pre-med, a long way before I even started thinking about comedy. I then have an MBA in business and banking. I worked on Wall Street. And then for the last 25 years, I've been a licensed practicing attorney in New York and also licensed to practice in Colorado and the Supreme Court of the United States.
Wow, that's incredible. What type of law do you practice?
Well, when I was practicing, because I'm on a hiatus right now to pursue my passion with comedy, I am a former prosecutor, which is also known as an assistant district attorney from the Brooklyn DA's office, Kings County. So in the last 25 years, I've been a criminal defense attorney, civil rights attorney, personal injury for plaintiffs, accidents, slip, trip, fall, dog bite, all of that. And then, a smattering in between of, divorces and bankruptcy. So I've seen it all. I've done it all. And now I'm on break.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you got into, tell people how and why you got into comedy. Like, what made you become funny? How early were you funny? When did you first do it? How's it been going?
I'll say, I think I've been funny for a very, very long time, from the time that I was younger. And it actually started out, this is actually funny how this all actually started out. But back in the day, when there were many more comedy clubs in New York City and in Long Island, I was dating a comedian who's, I'll just call him Richie. I won't give out his last name. So I was dating this comedian, Richie. And he was a school teacher by day. And he was also doing, the comedy clubs at night in Long Island and Manhattan. So one particular time he picks me up and we're heading into Dangerfields. He was opening up for Jackie Mason. So it's a long drive from Long Beach into Manhattan. Richie would be doing his act and practicing his set in the car. And I was like an idiot savant. I just had his act memorized because I heard it so many times. And so this particular night, he's in there, he's on stage for Jackie. Since I heard his routine so many times, I went downstairs at Dangerfields to find the ladies' room. So I made a wrong turn. Instead of like turning right to the bathroom, I turn left and I end up in Jackie Mason's dressing room. And Jackie's there, and I walk in, and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" Typical Jackie. And I'm sorry, Mr. Mason, I'm on my way to the bathroom. So he tells me where to go, and he goes, "When you're done, come back in, we'll talk." So I finally go back in, and we're like just schmoozing. And he actually believed that I was down there intentionally for an interview and used the whole bathroom, charade. And I was actually down there for an interview or an audition. And he says, "So what are you doing down here?" I said, "Oh, I'm dating the comedian who's opening for you." And in typical Jackie Mason style, he's like, "Oh, what are you doing with that schmuck?" And I said, "Did my mother call you? Because that's what she says about him too." And we're just like going back and forth. It was like he was lobbing them at me and I was shooting them right back. And he still believed I was down there for an audition. And I said to him, I said, did you ever see him perform? He was like, no. I said, oh, well, let me do his act for you. So I did a few bits of Richie's act for him, verbatim, right? Like this. And then he goes, kid, you know what you got that schmuck is never going to have? And I go, what? He goes, kid, you got timing. He goes, you're quick and you're funny. And he goes, you either have it or you don't. He goes, you cannot teach somebody timing. And he goes, so what are you doing? I said, I'm in graduate school. I'm working on my master's. He goes, no, seriously, like, what are you doing? I go, no, I really am. You're wasting your time. And I said, my mom just paid my tuition. Don't tell me that. So we exchanged phone numbers, and I finally go upstairs. And at that point, Richie's getting off the stage. I miss his entire set. And he wasn't staying to watch Jackie. So now he says to me, goes, so how did I do? I was like, I don't know. I didn't see you. And he goes, well, where were you? I was down in Jackie's dressing room. He's like, wait a minute. I opened that, and I'm never in his dressing room. So on the way home, he happens to say to me, goes like, so what were you talking about? And I told him, I said, well, I was, telling him about you. And I kind of sort of did, some of your set for him. And he was like, so what did he say? I go, well, he told me that I was better than you and I'm really funny. And at that point, we were like a block away from my parents' house. He leans over in the middle of the street, throws the door open, because at this point they were not power doors. He still had the hand, the little hand crank there, or the handle, and the hand crank like I'm from like the 1900s. But he's over, he tosses the door open and he goes, get out. And I never heard from him again. But that was the start of my comedy career.
Wow.
And so I was always making jokes and like the life of the party. And from the time I was younger, I really enjoy making people laugh. I find humor in so many things. And I like making people laugh. And then from there, like over the years, I had been in touch with Jackie over the years. And it was always like, do open mic. And I didn't have time. I was really busy with school my whole career, but I always found time in my spare time to make people laugh. And this went on, like even through my marriage. In fact, I did great stand-up comedy laying down in bed next to my husband. Because people said, like, you're an attorney for the last 25 years. What made you want to do stand-up comedy? And I always said, well, if you were married to my ex-husband, you'd be telling jokes too.
I love that.
And what actually came out of this is through a podcast that I've been doing. I've had my own podcast now for about 7 years on various topics, from the law to entertainment. I ended up meeting Angel Salazar. Chi-Chi Get the Yayo from Scarface, Angel Salazar. So I ended up meeting Angel at a comedy club that he was performing at in Staten Island. And at the end, everyone goes out to schmooze, take pictures and all. And I was so excited to meet him because Scarface is like my ultimate favorite movie. I have so much memorabilia. And we got to chatting and everything else. And we found out, that there were some people he and I knew in common. I knew them as attorneys, as colleagues, and I think he knew them because they defended him. Just joking. But, I had told him that, we were making jokes and all, and I had asked him to be a guest on my podcast. And Linda, when he agreed to it, we were sitting in traffic for about 3 hours at 9 a.m. I'm looking for coffee, and he's pouring Chardonnay in 2 glasses in my car at 9 a.m. But we were joking back and forth, and it was the same thing like what happened with Jackie. Angel's lobbing them at me, and I'm just hitting them right back. And then he goes, Pam, he goes, you're very funny. Why don't you ever do like a stand-up comedy and open mic? And I was like, wow, you're the second person to tell me that. And then Angel got serious for a moment, and he goes, wait a minute, who was the first person? And I said, Jackie Mason, years ago. And he says, how many more people need to tell you to do it? He says, now, he goes, I'm telling you. So he did my podcast. And then afterwards, we're having lunch. He made one phone call. He called Gladys Simon, our friend, the godmother of comedy. He called Gladys Simon over at the comic strip. And he told Gladys he was bringing somebody in to meet her. And that was me. And I got to meet her a few nights later. And we're sitting around with her husband, Bob, when he was still alive, and a couple of other comedians and Angel. And then same thing. Gladys is asking me questions and we're joking around. And so she said to me, she goes, "Where have you been?" She goes, "Where have you been all my life?" She goes, "You're fun, you're fresh." She goes, "I can't believe you're an attorney. You're pretty and you're funny. And with that voice, I cannot believe, like, who do you represent?" I go, "Like the mafia, the gangs, and the murderers." And so she auditioned me, so to speak. And then she had me start in her development room. And that was 6 years ago.
Oh, that's the greatest story ever.
I
Thank you
love
for
it. I
sharing
do.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get down to the meat of this. You're
Yeah.
in this Good Karma Festival. Talk to me about you being in festivals and you being in the Good Karma and what you hope to get out of it and what you hope to bring to it.
Okay. Well, it's my first comedy festival, which I'm very excited about because thank you, I've worked with Frank Vignola a number of times over the past 2 years. And Frank suggested that I be a part of it. He says, "You're ready for comedy festivals." He goes, "I've watched you. I performed with him." So he's seen me grow. So I'm excited. This is the first one, and I'm going to be appearing. It's a place called M&M's Saloon. It's up in New Lebanon, New York. It is on Friday night, March 1st. I want to make sure I have the right time. Friday night, March 1st, 10 p.m. And I'm in a segment called Women Who Crush or Women Crush. And it's myself, and I believe it's 5 or 6 other women comedians. So I'm excited because I really want to hone my craft. There's a number of shows I'm going to be doing prior to that because I'm always working on new material. Um, it's exciting that I get to so-called compete, or I should say perform with other women who are either doing it less time than me or more time. And every time I perform, I'm always learning. I'm learning from everybody else. So
Absolutely.
very excited. And from there on, I want to be able to do more comedy festivals. I want to be able to perform on cruise ships, do more club dates. You know, I don't want to say like where I want to see myself in a number of years because I keep evolving. I just want to keep going on this for as long as I keep people laughing.
Absolutely. As long as it's fun and as long as you're making people laugh, it's enjoy the ride because it'll take you places you never thought you'd go.
Definitely, something. If at least I'm not doing stand up in urinals right now, so at least I've gotten past that. Those are usually
Totally.
so.
Yes. So in your life, other than comedy, what let people just get a little bit to know about you before you tell them where to follow you. In your life right now, aside from anything else, what is it you enjoy doing with your free time that will make them love you a little bit more than they do already?
Thank you. In my free time, I actually have been doing a lot of interesting things in my free time. I engrave, I do calligraphy engraving by hand on perfume bottles, wine bottles, champagne bottles, and glasses.
What?
Yeah,
On the outside of them?
on the outside.
Wow. I want to see some of that.
Oh, you definitely will. I'll send some pictures to you. And I've always done calligraphy from the time that maybe like 15, 16 years old. I'm self-taught. And over the years, I've, read books and I practiced all the different types of handwriting. And when I first started the calligraphy, it was with the metal nibs in the bottle of ink.
Yes.
And then now, you have various types of art pens. But then about a year ago, I met up with some freelance artists in this wonderful company, and I sent her my handwriting samples. And then she showed me how to do the calligraphy on glass. So I have all the tools for it, and I could do anything. Oh, and I also do bottle painting. So I'm painting art flowers on these bottles. So for instance, the busy season for me is Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, and I just had a wonderful Christmas. So I'm a freelance artist for companies such as um, Tiffany Perfume and Dolce and Gabbana.
What?
Yeah,
That's
so keep it
incredible. I want
beautiful.
to see some of this.
I'm going to see you in person. I have to send them to you. I don't think I have anything with me here at home. No, but usually, and I actually get commissioned privately as well for that. So for anybody who has bridal parties and showers, I'm engraving like, bride and groom and different names and everything on the glasses and bottles.
Wow.
And it's
That's
nice. Beautiful personalized gift.
Oh my gosh. Tell people where they can follow you and where they can see anything that any of your art as well.
Well, my art, I'm actually going to be starting an Instagram page for that. So I haven't done that, but you can see that I'm on Instagram at Pamela underscore Roth 23, and also Pamela Roth comedy on Instagram. And also, if you want to see any of my comedy clips, you can follow me and see me on YouTube.
Under Pamela Roth or
Yes,
Pamela
under
Roth Comedy?
Pamela Roth comedian, Pamela Roth comedy. It comes up both ways on YouTube.
Perfect.
Far as a
Thank you.
couple of exciting things, Dangerfield's reopened. Now it's called Rodney's. They reopened on New Year's Eve, same location at 61st Street and First Avenue. And so I'm going to be appearing there on Thursday night, February 29th
Wow.
at Rodney's. And then, of course, I have the Karma Comedy Festival on March 1st. And then you're going to love this, Linda. I am having my first pay-per-view performance March 23rd at a theater up in Shelton, Connecticut.
What? That's incredible. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Pay-per-view. So like how many minutes are you doing for that?
I'm going to be featured 25 minutes.
So that's so great. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. And great, because the link will be up on with pay-per-view for a year. So everyone all around the country will get to see me.
That's so great. Wow,
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to working with you.
Thank you. Yes, I can't wait because I got to see you at Broadway at,
Yes,
and that was a great fundraiser we did for a great cause.
that was a great one. And Steve, Steve and I are planning another one. Um, Either March or April. We're going to be doing another fundraiser, so I'm going to keep you posted for that. We don't have the date. We do. We're working on the lineup.
Wonderful. I'm going to be there the whole month of April.
Fabulous. So we're
Thank you
trying to.
so much for coming on and plugging Good Karma Festival and opening up so that we get to know you. I've had a blast doing this.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And I am so looking forward. I'm so excited to be part of Good Karma, the Good Karma Comedy Festival on Friday night, March 1st.
Yes. And if you guys haven't checked out Good Karma Festival or applied to it, if you're a comedian, do so. It's going to be a blast. And you'll get to meet fine comedians like Pamela Roth. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Bye,
Thank you. Bye.
Pamela.